it came out that Young sent Snapchat messages asking the boy to send her explicit photos. That came out in court on Monday, I believe. Young is charged with 10 offences, including multiple counts of aggravated sexual intercourse with a child between the ages of 14 and 16. From what I've heard, he was actually 14. But it's a new case, so a lot of things could come out and a lot of things could be misinformation. Many of the charges related to incidents alleged to have occurred during school hours between June 24th and July 3rd. But the other court documents are saying that it went for over a month. So I guess that'll come out as well. Young was also charged with 2 counts of intentionally sexually touching a child, intentionally inciting a child to sexually touch her, and 2 other related offences. The teenage student was allegedly assaulted on and off school property over the course of a month, though it has not been confirmed if the student was a pupil of the teacher's. So we don't know if he was actually in her classes or if he was actually being taught by her. Now, this investigation was actually quite fast acting because they launched the investigation at the start of last week and she was arrested on Saturday. So it was only a few days where they were able to get what they needed. And yeah, arrested and taken to court Saturday. Arrested Friday, taken to court Saturday. It's understood that the investigation was sparked when the 14-year-old student made the allegations. Young is also accused of sexually assaulting the teenager on 5 other occasions at locations associated with the school, but not at the school. Magistrate Karen Robinson on Saturday ordered the names of any witnesses, potential witnesses, and the name of the school to not be published. She did not, however, order Young's name to be suppressed despite an application from Young's defence lawyer. I'm guessing they're making an example out of her, because it's not every day that you hear in Australia that a woman has sexually assaulted a minor. Young remained silent throughout the hearing, speaking only to confirm that she could hear proceedings via video link and to confirm her name when directly asked by the magistrate. "No worries, thank you," she replied after being told her matter was adjourned until this Monday, Bankstown Court. Young's phone and computer were seized so that detectives could establish when communication was made between her and the teenager. Her car was also seized as part of the investigations. I have heard, like I said, don't quote me, I have heard that a lot happened in that car. This is a very quick response we have taken in relation to this matter of very serious allegations, Detective Acting Superintendent Michael Haddo said following Young's arrest. With the number of online communication applications increasing, isn't it? Honest to goodness, I don't know how to use Snapchat, or my son was telling me about TikTok. If it wasn't for my kids, I probably wouldn't even know what these things were. It is very important to reaffirm the dangers associated with online conversations, the detective said in a statement. If children encounter something or someone they are not comfortable with, we encourage them to speak to a person of trust and they can let investigators know. It's so important though. It's so important to have that open door policy. It's always worked for me. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now, the New South Wales Department of Education said in a statement it was aware of an alleged incident involving a staff member. The safety and well-being of students is the #1 priority of the department. The department is aware of an alleged incident involving an employee and said, as police are investigating this matter, it is not appropriate for us to comment. Fair enough. It's also alleged that Young tried to interfere with the investigation as soon as she found out that there was an investigation taking place. She actually tried contacting the child's mother to explain her actions. How do you explain her? I'd love to have heard that conversation, let me tell you. I'm hoping it comes up in court because I'd really, really, really like to hear it. Magistrate Glenn Walsh said that according to the facts before him, Young learned about the existence of the police investigation and then she tried to get around it. She tried to get out of it. The magistrate said Young allegedly did that firstly by representing herself as a different Snapchat user. And secondly, as just stated, attempting to contact the mother of the complaint, oh my goodness, and try and explain away the circumstances of her conduct or misconduct. Young had no criminal record, none that I can find. She also offered a $50,000 surety and that she would stay with her grandmother. So it must be a little way away. It's the only way I can figure it. But the magistrate said Young's alleged behaviour raises significant bail concerns of interference of witnesses and formally refused her liberty. The matter will be brought before the courts again in August, and believe you me, I will keep you up to date. So the second case we have is a woman by the name of Jessica Streeper, who was 33 at the time.
Happening today, a preliminary hearing is scheduled for a teacher at a Montgomery County middle school who is accused of having sex with a student. Jessica Streeper is facing charges of sexual assault and corruption of minors. She was arrested last month after the Norristown Police Department received an anonymous tip. Authorities say Streeper had sex with a 14-year-old student on several occasions. They say the incidents occurred in Streeper's car and in her Doylestown home.
Streeper was a teacher in Norristown Area School District in the USA, so we're over in America now. Prosecutors said in a criminal complaint that an 8th grade student told them he had sex with Streeper in her car throughout spring. When the victim, because it's all gone through, then age 14, was interviewed by detectives, he admitted to having sex with Jessica on 7 occasions, including 5 times in her car. They like the car, don't they? When investigators checked the teenager's cell phone, they found numerous texts that were exchanged between the married teacher and her underage lover. Really annoys me when there's parents, female parent. Could you imagine? According to the criminal complaint, the illicit affairs lasted between April 1st and May 20th, 2014. Sorry, it was 2014, not 2013, as I stated. Screwed up there, sorry. Supported by church members who called her repentant and contrite, the former 8th grade teacher saw her pleas for probation rejected and learned she was headed to jail.
Mrs. Streeper, any comment about the sentence?
No, thank you.
Any comment about the sentence, Mrs. Streeper?
Keep your hands off the camera, please.
Any comment, Mrs. Streeper?
God will be praised and God will be glorified for all this. In Jesus' name.
The judge said, I know about redemption, I know about faith. There's a lot of pain in this case that I can't heal. You knew it was wrong. Who does that to a 14-year-old? No good in my book. There has to be some consequences. Montgomery County Judge Garrett D. Page said, as Jessica was sentenced to 9 to 23 months in the county jail, followed by 5 years probation and 100 hours of community service. That's not a lot, is it? If you think about it. Jessica pleaded guilty to a felony charge and sexual intercourse in connection with her contact with the teenage boy. And she appeared emotional as the sentence was imposed. Her husband wept at the thought of his wife, a mother of 2 small children, going to jail. Do you really defend? What's with these guys and defending these women? Well, the judge rejected pleas from her for a probationary sentence. He also rejected a prosecutor's request for a 4 to 8 year state prison term, which was the standard sentence recommended under state sentencing guidelines at that time. Page, putting his reasons on the record for imposing a county sentence, said the guidelines do not factor in transformation, restoration, and healing through spiritual growth. But the judge can factor it in. A state sentence is not warranted, said Page. Fair enough. Well, not fair enough, but you know. Jessica, a former teacher of the middle school, hid her face from the glare of reporters' cameras as she left the courtroom, protected and consoled by church members. Have some decency, you are pathetic, her husband bellowed at reporters at one point. Why should they have decency when she didn't have decency? I'll never understand that. In court, she apologised to the boy's family and to her former colleagues. If I could change what happened and what I did, believe me, I would. I should have known better. Adding that she has been in counselling. Jessica is no longer teaching and will have to report her address to state police for the rest of her life under the state Sexual Offender Registration and Notification Act. Of course, she's out. It's 2020 now, so she's out. But because she can't teach, she actually has an Etsy store. I couldn't believe I found this. She would have had to have found a new profession. And the stuff on there is actually quite cute, but I will never buy from a pedophile. So tomorrow I am going to hopefully bring you some updated news on the Theo Hayes case. Theo was a Belgian backpacker that went missing in Byron Bay, Australia last year. Now, there have been skeletal remains found in the vicinity of where his phone last pinged. So I'm going to spend my night looking over that and looking over the Taylor McAllister case and bring them to you. I am hoping to work through the weekend as well. There's a lot coming out at the moment and I'd like to keep us all up to date. So thank you so much for joining us.